We know you're just stockpiling it in your garage like an episode of Preppers, or maybe you're popping them like M&Ms at the dinner table, and really you're, yum, 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 birth control, but you're stuffing it in a napkin like broccoli and feeding it to the dog, and they're wondering why Fluffy's lactating. Let's get to one thing here. Amy Schumer released a sketch on Comedy Central. Did I already answer that? I don't think she's funny now on air. I don't know. Sometimes it's tough to know what's on air and what's off air. Amy Schumer and I have had our run-ins, and I respect immensely what she has accomplished as a stand-up comedian. I have to. But she's crossing over into territory. I mean, you don't want to perpetuate rape culture at all. Let's roll the clip of the sketch.
Where's the doctor?
We're your doctor.
No, you're a bunch of congressmen. I recognize you. I just need to get my annual pap smear.
You.
Do any of you have any medical training?
We're the House Committee on Women's Health. So I think we have a better idea than a bunch of science-y nerdles.
You mean doctors?
Let's begin. When was the date of your last Lady Kurz?
2 weeks ago, if you mean my period.
The argument here, if you watch the whole sketches from Amy Schumer, is Congress being in your OBGYN, right? That they have their hands over women's bodies. The message is pretty clear, right? You saw that, not Gay Jared?
Yeah, I did.
The message is a bunch of men, privileged men, getting to decide your health care.
Getting up in your vajayjay.
Right. I don't know why. Good Lord. Could you make this segment more immature?
Bajingo.
You're vajazzled.
Vajazzled. That's a new one.
That was bedazzled, and they had those rhinestones for the nether regions. Okay. So, Amy Schumer. All right, time to do this here. Sorry it's come to this. I try and cut a wide swath for comedians and give them a little bit of forgiveness. Why would it be that men in Congress get to determine what kind of birth control or what kind of healthcare services you get? Could it possibly be because of social justice warrior wenches like you and Sandra Fluke and Lena Dunham demanded through Congress and stood before the House and grandstanded and filibustered? Obviously, that didn't really happen, but they grandstanded. They went forward demanding free birth control, demanding that the taxpayer subsidize it. Guess what? When you demand that I pay for your birth control, you've now granted that authority to the government. I'm paying for birth control with my insurance because it's mandated. I'll never use birth control. I don't even use condoms. I've never used condoms. Condoms are for losers. Listen, if you use condoms, I have no respect for you. You are a man who has no self-respect. You take your chances and you roll the dice. As it goes with Amy Schumer. Obviously, I'm married, so I'm not taking any chances. But the case remains. With Amy Schumer, and here's the thing, with Sandra Fluke and Lena Dunham, too. Listen. And they were yelling this out at the UMass thing. I think the Jigglypuff was yelling out, women's reproductive rights, and they want free birth control. Okay, you're not fooling anybody with this. All right, the free birth control. You may convince some of the gender queers in your pot-smoking drum circle, but none of us are buying it, that you required so much birth control that you need me to assist in paying for your birth control. Okay, it's like that drunk chick at the bar. I have a bit on this about Lena Dunham, but it applies here, where they're sitting there. It's the opposite of virtue signaling. They're trying to act like they're so promiscuous and they're in such demand. It's like that chick at the bar, like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so drunk. I hope nobody tries to take advantage of me. And everyone's like, okay, no, you're good.
Well, it was like train wreck. It's like,
exactly.
Who is in line for this woman?
No, who is in line? Who is in line for this woman?
Woof.
They're saying, you're fine.
Buzz, your girlfriend.
Here's some cab fare. Go home, right? Believe me, you're as safe as in your mother's arms here. And some of them, listen, you may even try and fake them out and go Daniel Day-Lewis and method act with it. You may even go to the store and buy the birth control to try and convince people. We know you're just stockpiling it in your garage like an episode of Preppers, or maybe you're popping them like M&Ms at the dinner table, and really you're, yum, 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 birth control, but you're stuffing it in a napkin like broccoli and feeding it to the dog, and they're wondering why Fluffy's lactating, even though he's a male. It's just lactation. What is going on with the dog? No one is buying that you need that birth control. By the way, this sketch was already done as an ad by the same ad company that has done Ted Cruz's ad. Remember Uncle Sam? Was Uncle Sam, the lady was up on the forceps giving birth, and this creepy Uncle Sam poster came in. And the whole ad was, and it was a very libertarian theme, get Uncle Sam out of your doctor's office. Get Uncle Sam out of your bedroom. It was a common theme. This was long ago, before Lena Dunham was trying to take your guns. Amy Schumer was trying to take your guns away, or Lena Dunham was trying to take away your right.
Crappy and unoriginal.
Yes, it's completely unoriginal.
Double offensive.
And if you're trying to bash Republicans and conservatives were the one this entire time saying, no Amy Schumer, no Lena Dunham, we don't want our hands in your hoo-ha, we don't want to have to pay for your birth control, we don't want to have anything to do with your reproductive rights, all we want is for you to pay for it on your own. And when when Rush Limbaugh referred to Sandra Fluke as a slut, everyone got mad. Listen, if you are having so much sex that you can't afford a 25-cent rubber at a truck stop, if the word slut doesn't apply to you, it might as well be wiped from the history of the dictionary, because it was designed for sluts like Sandra Fluke and Amy Schumer and Lena Dunham. If they slut shaming, send your letters to our affiliates. I don't care. I know our affiliates support us. If they drop us, I don't care. We'll take this online. You are an unbelievable, reprehensible, slutty role model. By the way, Amy Schumer, you're a fat, slutty role model. Okay, well, I know she's not claiming to be a role model, but let's just be honest here. She got all mad when was it L? Something referred to her as plus size. Her whole you can't have it both ways. You can't demand that someone funds your personal sexual escapades and then go, oh my God, why should guys have a say in my reproductive rights? Why? Because you demanded it. You gave them that authority. And it's the same thing, by the way, with conservatives. It's the same thing with the alt-right and Trump, okay? I understand that a lot of you are mad with Barack Obama, and so am I. But it doesn't mean that you want your guy to do it and take more control. You do not want to give that much control with the government, because you do not get it back. You do not want to give the government the authority to monitor you. You do not want to give the government the authority to force you to pay for birth control or force you to pay for high premium health plans. You do not want the government to force you to register your gun. You don't want any of those things. And the problem here is that both sides think there's some other guy who acted like a dictator, this executive power. I want my guy to do it better. No, you don't. Just like Amy Schumer was saying, oh, you have the religious right. We want reproductive rights. We want free birth control. Really? You want to be the world's most powerful genie and everything that comes with it. Boom, shackles. Now these people get to decide what your OBGYN treatment is like. Just like in Canada. Remember they mocked when conservatives said death panels? There's no such thing as death panels. It was a term coined to create a visual picture. What is a death panel? Well, let me tell you what a death panel is. It's pretty similar to what happened with my aunt with lung cancer in Canada, where they sat there in Canada because their system is strained and they can't afford it, and they say, okay, she's in stage 4, she's older, there might be some experimental treatment that could help her live longer, very low success rate, but it's the only one that can work. But you know what? It's not really worth the price. Now, you're going to tell me that I'm being inaccurate because I use the term death panel? It's not a legal term. We get it. We're talking about the principle. Just like if you say an OBGYN panel, a birth control panel. What we're talking about is some Washington, D.C. bureaucrat, because you've given them the authority, because you wanted free crap, who now gets to decide what you put in your body and what's appropriate. You created that monster. Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham, all the strong women. And is there anything weaker than a woman who can't pay for her own stuff? I'm a strong, independent woman. Well, that's great. By the way, do you have any change? What, for like a bus ride? No, for my vagina pills. I don't think that's a technical term. Well, you say death panels still. I think that's more accurate than vagina pills. Hey, if you like this clip, it's taken from the full-length podcast every week. You can click that box down below to watch the full free video cast, or subscribe on iTunes to watch on the go. Click my face to go to ladderwithcrowder.com, where we write plenty of articles, columns, and upset those who are easily triggered. Or click below me. There's some other video down there. I don't know what it is yet. Not Gay Jared is going to toss. It's probably going to be something ambiguous but uncomfortable.